Good morning, everybody. Okay, here we go. You should be able to hear me now. Let me know if you can hear me, guys, if everything's okay. I think I have about a 20-second delay. I've tried making the delay shorter, but then you get dropouts, freezing, things like that. Okay. Yep, see? 20 seconds ago, all I hear and see in the stream is can't hear you, audio, no sound, and then we have that's better. All right, good morning, everyone. Let me repeat, good morning from Australia, Victoria, to be more specific. Hope everyone's well. All right. I thought we just I'd just start this off initially while you guys get your questions together. Remember, if you want to ask a question, make sure you put a whole bunch of emojis before your question in the stream so I can see them. Otherwise, it's not that I don't want to answer your question, it's just that I miss them amongst all the questions and all the comments and the discussions going on in the stream. The topic that I have been finding interesting recently is what most of the male self-help has been about in online, in especially on YouTube and things like that, is chest beating machoism, like get rich, get big. It's become I've talked about this with a couple of guys that I speak to regularly. I think MGTOW, what it used to be many years ago, is all but disappeared. It's a very small fringe, philosophically speaking, like that. The stoicism, the thinking, all that kind of stuff, it's pretty much gone, and it's kind of used as a side tool. But the majority of the online men's community in the self-help for men, basically guys talking to each other maturely, it's kind of regressed to, it's become PUA, quite basically. Most of the self-help, it's just about make money to be better, because once you make money, your problems are gone. That's the rhetoric. A lot of your anxieties go, but there's no reflection on what you're becoming. Are you really facing what your anxieties are? Let's say, for instance, you're a guy that kind of doesn't believe. I don't really believe that my partner, my girlfriend, my wife, or whatever. Yeah, she says she loves me. I think she loves me. Not that you want to test it. But what would happen if I got sick? What would happen if I lost my job? What would happen if I broke down because something awful happened in my life? I lost a family member, something tragic happened, and I kind of got knocked to my knees. would she be the same? Would she actually, her first reaction would it be to step toward me and embrace me, figuratively speaking, or to support me temporarily while I got back on my feet? And I think most guys, in all their macho, make money, be tough, be alpha, go to the gym, all that kind of stuff, I think in the back of their heads they kind of know, yeah, I don't really know if she would stay. I don't know how she would react. And they laugh. They go, yeah, lucky, that's never going to happen. It's like, yeah, you think so? Wouldn't you sleep better at night? I mean, look, let's be honest. We don't know in the future what's going to happen. Life throws things at people. Some people change, and it's not that one person's a villain, one's a saint. Life can actually push people apart. They go in different directions. They grow apart. I'm talking about everything's great, you lose your job. Everything's great, you get a sickness. Everything's great, something massive happens in your life that you really need support, and it's all about you. Not all about you, but there needs to be a great deal of sympathy for you, and the other person sort of can steer the car for a while you're the passenger in the car. That kind of thing. Thanks, Dami713, for the super chat. I appreciate it. He says, I've been in a relationship for 1.5 years, loving, supporting, no drama, but vastly different interests and political values. How do I let her go? It's been hard to walk away. Okay, you want to let her go. Loving, supporting, no drama. Why do you want to walk away then? See, I'm not the kind of guy that's going to just tell you to bail. I can't really tell what... Also, I can't tell if you're a male or female, but I'm assuming you're a guy. My first reaction is, don't do what a woman does. And because you've got a loving, supporting, no drama woman, but you don't have any interest in political values, I was going to say, why didn't you sort of figure that out when you met the person? I mean, I know there's that testing phase in the first 6 months to a year where you kind of find all that stuff out. The honeymoon sort of thing fades away. You know, the euphoria of biology wanting you to, get together subsides. And if you don't have anything in common, you don't stay committed. You try to see that before you get into a committed relationship. If there's no core values, interests, lifestyle, and everything, you shouldn't actually, I believe you shouldn't really be together as a committed, monogamous, traditional kind of couple, whether or not you want to get married or not. I'm talking, a guy and a girl. But you want to let her go. It's been hard to walk away. I don't know, man. It's something you've got to deal with, and if you're dead set on doing it, I'd say do it as kindly as possible. But yeah, you should have actually been more honest. I'm going to say at the start as well. Why get with someone you've got vastly different interests in, political values? Look, I'm talking from experience. My last ex was like this. Not like this. We had similar interests, but she hid her personality, what she wanted and everything in the first 6 months to a year. And then later on, she decided to reveal herself more and more. It's just a waste of time for both of you. I don't know what answer to give you. I don't know enough about your specific case. All I can say is be kind and take your time and think again, because if you're going to go about the same patterns in being with someone, you're going to rinse and repeat. If you got someone who's caring, loving, supportive, and you're bored, I don't know. Dami713, let me know if you're a male or female. That would be interesting. Because your situation, you've got someone who's loving, supporting, no drama. Personally, I think I would have thought, especially if I'd settled to actually want to be with them in a committed relationship, if I found someone loving, supporting, no drama, It wouldn't be that quick and easy for me to walk away. Anyway, be kind and think again before you make the final decision to walk away. I would offer. Dami says, I'm a dude. Honestly, me not able to be honest at the start, us both being naive in relationships, me not having had much action for 7 years. Thanks. Okay. So you're both just kind of happy to find somebody. All I would say is be kind and think again. I'm telling you, man, it's not that this is the best you can do, because most women out there aren't great, and basically men and women in general out there, the environment for dating, a lot of us are pretty callous. If you find someone that's loving and supportive, I'd think twice about letting them go, unless it's really bad. Like I said, I don't know your situation exactly. You don't need to lay out your life story, but don't make a hasty decision simply because it took you a while to get to this point. Like you said, you hadn't had anyone for 7 years. You found someone who's loving, supporting. You can't see any problem, but I know what it's like, the inner world. You want to be able to talk and share your ideas, thoughts, and your inner landscape, and you can't actually do that. That's a difficult thing. That was one of the major problems of my ex as well, an inability to connect internally. And it's not big. She doesn't need to have all my interests, and she doesn't need to sort of talk on my level, but just the inability to actually have a conversation with someone for periods of time and enjoy hanging out with them all the time, instead of like what most couples do, is distract themselves by doing stuff and shop and everything. And I think the system wants you to go in love blindly, so you keep it going for as long as possible, have kids mistakenly, and then you're left with the mess for paying with it. So the legal system loves it, but initially you get with someone and commit to someone you really have no common interest with, and you've got no inner world that you can connect to each other with. So you spend your time going to dinners, shopping, trips, all that stuff, distracted, drunk on romantic love, that euphoria of the beginning. And by the time it fades away, biology would have got you to reproduce. Thank you very much. And then the court systems would get you to start paying and go through all the legal costs of like an awful mess up, because it gets awful because you're both frustrated at each other and you blame each other. But really, a lot of times, like two incompatible people got together. I think that's the problem with 95% of cases, mine included in the past, is you get drunk on seeing someone you just like, you're attracted to. It's like, whoa, they look good. I feel a good energy between us. We really, really want each other. The want in parentheses is the thing I'm talking about. And then by the time the brain kicks in and you realize you need more time away from them, and they're like a second job, it really comes down to you don't have much interests or share ethical or moral similarities and things like that. So anyway, I wish you luck. Be kind and take your time, man, because just not having had a girlfriend for that long, you may actually regret this, because it's very hard to find someone who's loving and supporting and no drama. Oh man, that sounds like heaven. No drama. Whew. Think twice, Dami. Like I said, I'm not saying not to. I don't know your situation. If I was living your situation and I could explain it more, again, it's your decision. It's part of being self-responsible, is to sort of make the decision in the final case that when you come to it later, you can sleep well at night. You can honestly sleep well at night. Make that decision. Because once you not just cross the bridge, but burn it, there's probably no coming back. Anyway. Donna says, am I enjoying the lockdown? Yeah, not bad. It's kind of... I don't like it also because we're all getting used to it, especially people like me. I've got more introverted leanings than extroverted, much more. So I can enjoy a lot of the things I enjoy alone at home. I create a lot of stuff. Write, draw, YouTube videos, music, things like that. As well as the normal stuff other people enjoy doing, like watching movies and things like that. But yeah, hope my fellow Melburnians aren't doing it too hard. Healthy Quadrant says, Human, thanks for responding to the commentary as you do. Where do you find the time? Yeah, that's the thing. Sometimes I burn myself out, but I've got an obsessive personality when it comes to creative, especially the creative intellectual things I enjoy, like my little world. For instance, the last video I did, the skit of Why Won't She Listen, the Alexa Siri parody. I wrote it and then I finalized it in the morning on Friday morning. But from Friday morning, I shot various parts of it throughout the day. So from the morning till I think about, I don't know, it would have been 3 in the afternoon. And then from like about 6 to 8, because I ate dinner, I stopped for dinner. So let's say from about 8 in the evening, Friday night, to 5 in the morning on Saturday morning, I worked straight on the video, putting it together and uploading it. So I sort of, yeah, I get obsessive with stuff I love doing. Whereas this is the thing, you gotta find friends and lovers that are compatible with your personality, that can understand when you get obsessive, who are sympathetic with your personality. You know, they don't have to be exactly like you, but it's good that they're kind of sympathetic to you. They actually see the real you and like the real you. Yeah, I know it sounds kind of cliche and new agey, but I think it's stuff that's been lost, and we dismiss it. You know, like all the stuff that's going around. People use the word like conspiracy theory to dismiss looking into reality, what's really going on. I think it's similar to relationships. When we say certain words, they come off as smarmy and cliche and new agey, you know, overly romantic or things like that, and it's dismissive, and you move on and you go, no, it's not that, that's cheesy. Let's talk like this, like, you know, let's talk clinically as a way to stay safe. Yeah, so the topic of today was, again, reflecting on a lot of these guys who are really proud, these macho guys that say, again, let's just be honest, the most popular men's self-help channels on YouTube now, the most popular things are for broken-hearted guys going through stress or who want women. It's more it's more a PUA community. So the vast majority of male self-help online now is the PUA community. That's the umbrella of it, because it's all about figuring out relationships and women. It's all women are the central focus, women are the holy grail. It's how to do it. And they conveniently will talk in a way, well, no, but it's all about you, men. Go to the gym, make money, be powerful, distance yourself, build this suit of armor, and then you'll have your pick of women. Then you can rotate women. Then you can spin 12 plates. Then you can, you know, date 12 women. So if one leaves or you get tired, you replace one in your rotation. So you never feel you never feel lacking. You never feel, my brain's empty at the moment. You never feel loss, because you never actually lose a central. There's never an empty space. It's always occupied with women you're rotating. But the problem with me is I would never feel in control of my life, because the women are controlling my life. If I don't pile in women into my life in every corner and spend all my week juggling women, focusing on women, dating women, sleeping with women, as a way I never feel heartbroken, it means that they're controlling my life in a massive way. This is why I always wanted, not always, I enjoy my alone time, because I'm happy in solitude. I get a lot done. I need a lot of solitude time to do my hobbies, even when I was in relationships, but I needed someone who compatible, or at least who was sympathetic, who could understand me. I can't spend every waking hour of the week rotating female strangers as a way to abate heartbreak. It's pretty much it. And a lot of these guys talk tough about, it's all about you, men. Rotate 12 women, and you'll never care about her. If one of your women doesn't is giving you a hard time, next, she's replaceable. Put another one in the rotation, and you're always in control. It's all about money and rotating women. It's like, it's all about women. Would you really work as hard? Look, there are guys that love the financial aspect of making money, the mechanics and the structure of it. There are guys that love systems and numbers and things like that. In the same way, you got someone who's very nerdy about physics or mathematics or whatever. There are a lot of guys who are that way inclined about making money. Oh, my brother's calling me. I've got to answer him later. Actually, I'll answer him now. Family comes first, guys. Give me 2 seconds. I'll just... Isn't this rude? Yeah, so that's the kind of thing I question, guys. I can't understand, and again, it's probably personality. I've told you many times I've got much more of a control freak side that helps me have probably shorter limits than other guys. Other guys would spend like years and marry a woman and spend like 10 to 20 years with the wrong woman before they finally break. I break 1 to 2 years usually with a completely incompatible person, even if at the start she's acting, or I'm drunk on what I think I see. Because in all cases, aside from when I was fairly young, okay, I didn't know anything. It was like biology, woman, mate. That was the instinct, right? But when you start to get into your 30s and the brain kicks in and the world becomes more important than women, and you start being more responsible for yourself, and when I say the world becomes more important than women, you become more important as well. That's what I started to notice. I started to read and reflect. Because when the world becomes important, you start to become important by reflection. Because even if you're interested in the world, you reflect on the world in relation to yourself too. So then you start to become in focus. So, these guys that are kind of, I'm proud to control my woman. It's kind of like you've got a well-behaved dog. It's kind of like, watch this, boys, roll over. Watch this, boys. I've said before, I'm not into bestiality, so I wouldn't be proud of that. You know why? Another reason why I'm not a big fan of controlling your woman, like especially like a handful, because I think the instinct comes from she's so much hard work and she's such a wretch and she's so mean that they equate it to the bedroom, that sex in the bedroom is going to be equivalent and as turbulent and as such an exciting roller coaster, hard to handle, jumping out of an airplane. And so the bedroom's going to be like that too. Well, are you going to spend years, 10 or 20 years of your life, say for instance in the week, right? You have to deal with an awful person that's not compatible with you because 0.03% of that, or let's be generous, right? 0.5% of your week, you have great sex, right? Do you think that's an equivalent transaction? You suffer 24 hours a day, 7 days a week for half an hour to an hour of great bedroom activity where you both shut your mouth and enjoy each other's company in a very primal way like that. I don't think it's an equivalent. It's a fair transaction. To tell you the truth, it would be better to find a more compatible person. Robert R. says, don't even try to control your woman. It is a complete waste of time and energy. When the relationship doesn't serve you, end it. Yes. But as I said to Dami713, think very carefully. If your logical brain knows you've got someone loving, supporting, there's no drama, ask yourself, really, are the reasons why you think you really want to end it big enough that you can sleep well at night later on? I'm not saying you just want to. It's kind of like an itch you can't stop scratching, but then later on you're going to regret it. Really think about it, because if you're going to spend your whole life suffering because you were just impulsive, that's not a good thing. Scott B7 says, Human, what type of goals are you working on for yourself? A lot of it is maintenance, to tell you the truth right now, because I've been living the way I want to live for a number of years now. It's not perfect. It goes it ebbs and flows, but it doesn't sway too far away. Like if there's a baseline of where I want to be, it sort of sways up and down, whereas a lot of people live completely away from where they want to be, or I get nervous when my life's hyper exciting because I know it's not going to last. Like, when you have a fantastic day, you catch up with like a couple of weeks ago, I had a 50th with all my high school buddies. One of my close friends turned 50. We spent a weekend away at a holiday house, just us guys, and it was the best. And I enjoyed every moment because I was aware this isn't going to last. Soak up this moment. I'm very aware of those moments being fleeting moments in time. But my normal life is this baseline that I want to sort of have a gradual sine wave. I know that life's going to be unpredictable. It's going to throw things at you where you have deaths, where you plummet all the way vertically. And then sometimes you're going to have surprise great moments. But you want to create your baseline in the middle. You don't want to have an unrealistic, really high baseline of, I want it to be exciting all the time, 24/7, because life is meant to be lived. Yeah, it's meant to be lived, but realistically. So a lot of my goals are maintaining what I do and what I have, and then little goals, happy moments, but always remembering where my baseline of reality is, where I live. I'm not often dissatisfied with where I am because I try and be realistic as I can be. Again, I'm not perfect, but Crummy VCR says, I've been saying it for a while, Human. Physiology is just getting chemically drunk daily and it wants more all the time. Why should I be guided by chemical dependence? This is right. But if you have a realistic idea of where you want to live, and you can sway and you can deal with it and always calibrate yourself back to your normal baseline, a good way is to have routines through the week. Like I set very simple routines that people think, well, that's just normal. Yeah, you'd think so, but most people don't even do it. Like, do you have a morning routine? Do you sort of go to your diary and have a coffee? This is what I do, and just start my day that way, in a simple way. Check your emails. Do you visit friends? Like, my weekly routines are like visit family a couple of times a week. talk to a friend, go for a walk or a run, work out a few times a week. Don't let 2 days pass, pretty much, where I don't do one of these things, like walk, run, work out, write, make a video, engage in the activities that keep you lubricated and going as your particular type of human being. Who are you? So all the things you love doing, like scatter them through the week, but my calibrating factor is don't let 2 days pass, or roughly 2 days, before you do one of those things again. So you have the variety of not being very strict like a robot, like mechanically, I must work out at 9 a.m., and then if it doesn't happen, your whole world falls apart. I have my life organically kind of flowing through, where when 1 or 2 days gets to a point where I haven't done a certain thing, I get itchy and have to do it. So either I have to interact with people, my family, friends, go for a run, do all those kind of things. How do I get onto that topic anyway? But yeah, physiology. It's the same with relationships too. There's that same sort of ebb and flow, but I think in the longer time frame. So you want a woman, you get a woman, and you want to have your own time away. But I think it's mainly because you've picked an incompatible person. If you find a more compatible person, I think that frustration of needing time away from them is less. I think the majority of us just want someone that we find chemically attractive, like you said, biochemically, physiologically attractive. Alon says, could it be that men feel that as long as they control their woman, the women won't get the chance to control them? Yeah. Because deep down, like I said, do you really believe that she's not going to leave you? Do you have to pedal? Think of a relationship when a man's in it. If you're with a person you don't trust, you're incompatible, you got to pedal really fast on your bike. And you can't get tired because you realize that, yeah, she says she's okay with, oh yeah, sweetheart, no, you don't, take a rest, go slower. You work so hard. You're pedaling so fast. But deep down, you realize that the only reason she's with you is because you were showing off and pedaling fast. And the moment you let the facade go, or the moment you slow down pedaling, or you get off your bike, she's like, oh no, all of a sudden I didn't realize that I don't find you attractive unless you do pedal hard on our bike. The bike being the relationship. Again, compatible people. Get yourself right? So you're compatible with yourself, you like your routines, you like your life. In the same way, you're compatible with yourself, find someone else that fits in with you and be compatible. Again, it's not going to be perfect, you may need a bit of time away, but not that you need like at least, basically, if you're wanting to be with a woman, guys, and you can only stand seeing her 20 to 30% of the time, you're not with a compatible person. I'm not saying you need to be with them 24/7. If I ever do have a girlfriend in my life in the future, I'll still do what I want to do and spend my time on my creative pursuits alone or with them hanging around. But it's not going to be, get out of my face, I'll see you next Friday. It's ridiculous. I mean, that's the reality of today, and I get it, guys, because of the environment, because of women, because of the laws and all that kind of stuff. Actually, I think the color on my profile is a little off. Let me change. I've been there we go. I've been in the wrong color how's this? HLG, not Vlog. Standard. No. There we go. I was wondering why it looked off. Hang on, let me just adjust the color correction just a bit. Perfect. All right. Or actually, it's a bit saturated, isn't it? All right, done. Sorry. I have two modes with this camera. When I can't run it through Streamlabs OBS the way I'm doing it now, then I just put it on a different picture profile on my camera when I'm running things through like Skype. And I forgot to turn it back. That's more like it. I was wondering why the picture was a bit funny. Anyway, back to the stream. Emmanuel says, why do women see accountability as kryptonite? I think... look, I think there's a lot of biology in it, but look, let's not fool ourselves. Guys can be unaccountable too. But I think women, because biologically they need to move on quickly, so if women run more on feelings and they can kind of move forward on feelings because there's always going to be a man there to latch onto. Whereas a man, when you lose a woman, he's got to go out into the world and find another one. A woman can just kind of display herself and get another man to notice her, generally speaking, the younger she is. I think in basic terms, women need to be less accountable than men because they can be. And also, if men aren't accountable, we find ourselves homeless and in the gutter. Whereas women have always got a plan B of show a bit of cleavage, get a man and offer yourself, and you won't be homeless. Men don't have that plan B. It's basically work hard, which I think is another reason why a lot of these PUA type guys will be like, make a lot of money, be powerful. It's like, get away from being homeless. And women is also get away from being homeless. So survival kind of thing. Fortis says, I'm walking 4.5 miles while watching the human stream. Are you watching me while you're walking? I suppose people think you're talking to a friend or something. Carlos says, hey human, I always wonder what type of lens you use for live feed, aperture and focal length. I'm using a Panasonic GH5 as a webcam, and the lens is a Leica 15mm 1.7, which is a full frame equivalent of 30mm 3.4, with a adjustable Youve. What are they called? My brain's mashed potato this morning. Yeah, adjustable sort of whatever filter, UV filter. It's on the tip of my tongue. So yeah, tech question. Yeah, I wonder if I should actually do a tech specific stream, just one, for all the questions people want to ask me about how I do my videos, all the camera stuff, like audio, visual, and all that kind of stuff. The stuff I use, how I get the look I do in my videos, how I go about producing videos and things like that. Anyway, I don't know if many people will be interested in that. And I probably know I'd still get interspersed a lot of male, women, social, philosophical stuff thrown in as well. So anyway, Some of these questions are really too big for me to answer, guys. Like, Eric asks a really big question. Human, do you think the world has no purpose at all? My opinion is that we're only here to get born, reproduce, and die. These days, I read about Arthur Schopenhauer, philosophy of pessimism. Yeah, generally speaking, there is no purpose to life other than biologically to reproduce. That's why we're here. That's our function. Anything else, when you have that little thing tapping you at the back of the head, wanting something else, is the struggle in life. What do you want to do while you're here? So biology just wants you to reproduce. That's your function in life. To some people it's scary, but if you resist just reproducing blindly and then, being buried later in life, that's the struggle. That's why I say it's better that you develop a moral philosophy so you can deal with what happens between being born and being buried. But yeah, there's no purpose in life other than reproducing, really. If we're being objective. See, I can say that even though I don't want to reproduce. I don't know why so many people get offended. Like, if we want to talk plain hard biological facts, that's the meaning to human life, to reproduce. Like any organism is to survive and reproduce. But then if we're talking philosophically as an individual, what do I want? I don't know why people get offended at me like I'm telling people what to do. I'm expressing who I am and how I want to go about life and how I'm trying to live the best life I can. And I think a lot of the pushback comes from people who are basic biological organisms who have no interest in a moral philosophy, and they're trying to push back. So biology is pushing back through them onto me. And I'm saying, whoa, I agree with you, unless I'm consciously taking control of my own steering wheel and driving my own vehicle. And you guys can do what you want. I'm not telling you what to do, and I'm actually agreeing with you if we're talking biologically. This is the thing. I can disagree and agree with people depending on the subject. So when they say, are men better than women? In what context? In most things that you can measure when it comes to competition and excellence, men will beat most women because we're that competitive and we're that ruthless that we want to. And it ties back to us having to live in the world and survive in the world, otherwise we basically perish. So we have to compete and outdo the next person near us. And 99% of the time we're not competing with a woman. We're competing with other men, because that's usually the guys out in the world trying to survive, keeping their women and children safe. So this is what I find perplexing. Depending on the topic, I can agree or disagree with most people. It's not black and white all the time. It's not, are men better than women? It's where and how, as a way to make sense of life and get along with people better and have a better life and have some sort of equanimity between you and things you're struggling against. Life, thank you very much for the super chat donation. He says, do you think it would be overall better for average men to use R-pill/PUA tools to manage relationships, or continuing a general B-pill intuitive mindset? I see relationships as an inevitability. If I had to choose between the two, I would say continue as a general B-pillar. Only because I think psychologically what a man's left with being this macho PUA, R-pill type of person, I think it burdens you. It kind of lobotomizes you with more weight on your shoulders, figuratively speaking, and you don't know what to do with it, because it was you that did it. You and other men saying, oh no, this is the solution. See, we're not controlled, but you're controlled by a set of values that you plant in you that you find hard to sort of it's hard to describe. You know what I mean? It's kind of like finding yourself in a religion at a bad time and it saves you, and objectively it's a great place, but the moment you're past it and you try and live life, it starts to become consistent speed bumps in your life, and it drains you, and you feel like you're living a life that's not you. So the only reason I say it's better to be B pill than R pill in today's environment, especially with the vast majority of male self-help channels out there, is because you can, at least in a luck sense, in an intuitive sense, if you're a guy who's intuitively more self-protective, say for instance like myself, I was very intuitively self-protective. I've got a big control freak part of my nature. Yeah, I was lucky. I was lucky that I didn't get a girl pregnant, or that a woman didn't take me to the cleaners through, you know, divorce court or anything like that. I didn't marry anyone, but I had this big self-protective nature. So at least if you've got a big self-protective nature, or you're raised by your parents to really not let a woman push you beyond a certain point, you respect yourself a lot more as part of your own, you know, hardwiring, then at least you can tackle the world intuitively. Whereas if you actually imbue PUA rhetoric, you become like this, you try to act like a Casanova pickup money-making robot that feels less and less. You have to live life mechanically to be safe. Whereas at least intuitively, you can feel more. Does that kind of make sense? That's why if I had to pick between the two, given the PUA today and the natural intuitive side of life between a man and a woman, I'd pick the natural life. On aggregate, I think you'd sort of, you have a better chance of surviving. Okay. I just needed to reply to my brother. Okay, next question. Black Magic 1087 says, Human, I noticed in PUA circles, it's always how to attract the quantity and not the quality of women. Yeah, it's kind of a belief that every woman has the same personality, right? Which is blatantly untrue. In the same, like everyone's got a slightly different personality. Our base natures are very similar, if not. A lot of people are completely the same. A lot of men are almost blueprints of the other person, just with like different window dressing. But other people, the window dressing goes deeper, right? It's not just, some guys and girls are exactly the same, and they've got a thin patina of different kind of external window dressing, whereas other people, it's a lot thicker. Like it sort of goes deeper into who they are. But yeah, the PUA circles, it's about spinning quantity, so you don't have to worry about quality, because quality doesn't exist. You know, quality exists in you. This is the snake oil. This is the insidious bit. Yes, care about yourself, care about the quality of you, because quality outside of you doesn't exist. But there's a relational aspect between you and life. If you only care about the quality of yourself, you become solipsistic and narcissistic. You refuse to acknowledge that there can ever be any quality outside of yourself. So you're going to rotate women all the time. You're never going to be happy with a car you buy. You're going to rotate that every year because you're going to get bored. You want the next model. So there's no actual quality that you want to keep. You want to rotate the newest quantity all the time. So you become a male shopper. So a woman will go out there shopping for quantity, guys, shoes, all that kind of stuff, holidays, trips, constantly being fed a production line of quantity and variety, and a man's doing the same thing, but a man's doing using a different kind of language in this PUA community, and using big $100 philosophical words, borrowing from MGTOW. You see a lot of what they say in the PUA community now, they're referencing phrases that came from MGTOW. I've heard a lot of guys sort of say, oh, as such and such says, and this is like a PUA style guy, they'll say, as such and such says, she will never love you. It's like, he didn't say that. TFM said that. Or they'll leave these comments in my comment section, like, a woman doesn't love you. She loves what you can do for her. And they sign off the PUA guy of today. It's like, he didn't say that. Stardust said that. So a lot of people are borrowing philosophically for PUA today. In the same way, like, I wouldn't quote Seneca or Marcus Aurelius and pass it off as human. And that's what a lot of these, frankly, car salesmen / PUA guys are doing. And you notice the energy about them is very, buy a set of steak knives. But wait, you're running on a treadmill. Even the way they, I don't know. Look, when you're in pain, there's certain places for everyone. So, like, I notice there's a place for pickup when you're young or you just want a woman, but they're pretending to give you a philosophy of life going forward for the long term that I don't think serves a man well going forward. So, look, I have nothing per se against them because sometimes you need to have a donut, Sometimes you need McDonald's. But once in a while, you have points in your life where you just want to splurge. But most of the time, I'd say you need to live a healthy diet. You need to take care of yourself, the quality of your life and the quality of the people you take in, just like a diet, the relationship you have between yourself and the world, between yourself and food, between yourself and women, between yourself and whatever. It can't be McDonald's, and a lot of these guys are selling you McDonald's. It's very fast food. Again, do what you want. They're entertaining. Some of the guys aren't necessarily PUA, but and some of them, look, some of the channels that aren't necessarily my cup of tea, some of them I like the guys. Their personality is pretty cool. I wouldn't mind having a conversation with them. But what the content they're producing isn't really much of what I'm interested in watching myself. In the same way, a lot of, like my videos, I know there's some guys that I'm on good terms with that I chat with on Discord and so forth that they don't like my content. It's not their cup of tea as well. And there's no use pretending. So that's what I feel about some of these PUA style guys. Some of them, I wouldn't mind having a conversation with them in private. They'd probably be good guys to talk to. But the type of content they produce, it's just not for me. It's kind of like, if you're into movies, there's certain genres that, yeah, nicely produced. I can see the value in the kind of people that might be interested in this, but it's just not for me. Anyway, I'm blabbing. Smash the like button, guys. Yeah, as someone just said. Remember, if you want to ask a question, put a bunch of emojis next to your question so I can see it in the stream. Amir says, human, how old are you? And has your SEX drive lowered with age? Compared to when I was in my 20s, yeah, it has. But for me, that's a good thing because like most guys in their 20s and teens, it can be very uncontrollable. That's why a lot of guys fall prey to nature. It's like, oh, get woman, get woman, get woman. Which is another reason why, you see the stats on Tinder is guys usually swipe yes to a woman. What was it from memory? Is it swiping right is yes and swiping left is no? Guys will swipe right on women 50-50. They'll say, oh yeah, she's nice. Like, men don't have really high standards for looks of women because, guys like the girl next door kind of look all the way up to a Victoria's Secret model, whereas women swipe yes to like the upper 20% of men. So women are much more looks judgy than guys are, despite what you hear. Women are more superficially judgmental. Probably because they can afford to be. Because they get a lot more guys wanting them. Ah, Donna, you're in Frankston, South. You're in the opposite end of Melbourne to me. I'm in the West. Hey, Mr. Highway, how you going, man? Hope you're doing well. Emmanuel says, I just left a narcissist, had enough. Good for you. Okay, guys, remember, questions with a lot of emojis, please. Just so that I can see them. I'm trying to scroll down really quickly. Roy says, don't you think the only purpose in life is to have harmless fun? Depends. Harmless fun can turn into a lifelong misery going forward. So, not necessarily. Nicholas says, it's like crabs in a bucket. Human independent thinkers will be pulled back into the bucket by the other crabs. Yeah. Especially the crabs of today. David says, would you suggest getting back with your ex if she messages you knowing you caused it all to fail due to insecurity, but trust and compatibility were very strong? Well, yeah, you actually just said what I initially thought when I started reading your message. Unless, yeah, you were the one that was in the wrong and she was a great person, you may want to. Most of us aren't lucky enough to have that second chance if we were the ones that were the a-holes. Count yourself lucky, but also go in with your eyes open. Don't forget why you left. If the reason you left was you were young, dumb, and it was superficial, but she was your match, and you were just too naive, dumb, or whatever, erratic to. But don't also go back and ruin her life again. You don't want to repeat the same thing. Donna's been deleting people. Eric says, Human, do you think there are good women left, or is it just an illusion? Yeah, I think there's good women left. But they're rarer than before. It was always hard for guys to find compatible women. Now it's even doubly hard because of the way life is and how dating is. Women have been given crack today. It's like the streets are full of women on crack, and their crack is this and everything on it. This all of our social lives are now run through this. That exacerbates it. LJ says, hey Human, I want to get back with my ex I have a kid with, but she rather give her attention to someone else. What should I do? I know it's hard. I know you have a kid too. See, this is me pontificating from a position that's not affecting me. I'm trying to sort of be sympathetic in your point of view, where she wants somebody else. She doesn't want you. I don't know what answer to give, man. I'd rather lean towards F her. If she'd rather choose another man over you and her kid. It's different if you didn't have a kid. If you have a kid and she wants to go with someone else, despite having a kid with you, I would care as much as she cares. Don't treat people better than they treat you. All right? Healthy Quadrant says, human, I went to a R-man group, Rolo followers. The organized practice BDSM, but SM is reverse, master-slave. He discovered the 3 slaves enjoy being master. I'm not sure what you mean. He eventually fell ill and could not maintain frame. The 3 women left him due to... Oh, okay, he was spinning plates, spinning 3 women. The 3 women left him to die alone. He didn't die, but he did blame himself for failing at that relationship. Yeah, basically, you're living your life trying to maintain the... You're trying to keep the organism of all these women in your life. That becomes your life, spinning women. I wouldn't recommend it. I've got better things to do than spin plates. UGH Life, was very surprised by your answer to my super chat. Can you name a PUA channel or 2 you're referring to? And would you consider having a chat with Hafiz from the Roommates? Not sure who you're referring to. I haven't heard of them. I'm not referring to... I've got obviously 1 or 2 people in mind, one of the more popular ones, but I don't dislike them. They seem like fun guys. They've got good personalities. And some of them I feel like, that guy, he's got a good platform, he's smart, he's well-spoken, but he's just telling guys to make money and chase women, and that's all he's doing. And I personally don't think ethically that's the right thing to do, because you're going to leave a lot of the men like that in the dust, and they're not going to be able to recover their lives because they're not him. You know, for a very few amount of people like that person, they've come to a point in their life that, yeah, this is a good life for them. They love their life. But most guys aren't like them. They don't teach guys to self-reflect and find out what their own moral philosophy is. They just say it's a one-trick pony of make money and spin a lot of women. But I don't want to name names because I don't have anything against them. I don't want to put any guys on blast, because sometimes guys will need channels like that at certain points in their life. But if you stay in that loop, that young loop of get rich, get jacked, and spin, 5 to 10 women on your rotation at a time, that will leave you an empty husk really quickly. And if that's your philosophy, imagine trying to maintain that all your life. It's not workable. It's not realistic. Put it this way: the popular PUA style channels out there, the guys that are more well spoken, I can see them as cool guys, maybe to have a conversation with. And some of them have particularly nice personalities too. But again, it's just their content. I don't think it serves men at a certain point, but it doesn't serve men. It doesn't, that saying, teach a man to fish or give a man a fish? They're not teaching men to fish, I don't think, in the real sense of developing a moral philosophy that an individual man can take forward and live calmly and autonomously and not be led by anything other than himself as a primary sort of focal point. They're teaching guys to be led by money and women all the time. Without money and women, these men are lost. The moment restrictions like this happen that are happening in the world, where you can't work, you haven't got any social outlet, you can't date, these men are lost. Carl says, what's your opinion on Kevin Samuels? I haven't really watched him. From the little I've seen snippets. Well-spoken guy. I don't mind his personality. Again, he's more in that arena, but he's the kind of guy it'd be nice to have a conversation with. But I don't know what we talk about, quite honestly. And again, I haven't watched any one of his videos from end to end. I've watched snippets of things across the internet, but he seems like a cool guy. Level-headed, and he's found a life that works for him, it looks like. So he's one of the guys that I referred to that, yeah, he seems like he's well adjusted. I've had like 4 people call me during this stream, like my phone's ringing again. What is it? We're in lockdown here. Jeez. I'm telling you guys, like sometimes I go like days without anyone contacting me. All of a sudden I've had 4 people call me. Off the top of my head, the guys that I actually think are cool personalities, people like who are in that community are people like Better Bachelor seems like a cool guy. Kevin Samuels seems like a cool guy, and by cool I mean sort of well spoken, intelligent. They've actually gone their own way. They've found a life for them, and they're talking from their point of view. But a lot of guys are wanting to be led by them, and I've often said, be very careful. Don't adopt a philosophy of someone else, because you can put yourself more off course than you were when you were heartbroken and lost, because you put on another mask, you act like another person, you adopt their philosophy, and then one day you find yourself alone at sea and you go, how did I get here? You're trying to act like someone else in a well-meaning way, because you thought that would save you, and it may have right at that point where you were heartbroken, but then you found yourself alone. Because these guys, they're offering food for thought, they're offering you something, but if it doesn't fit you, that's why I say it's better to kind of reflect internally, find out who you are as a person. What are your ethics? What are your routines? What makes you happy? Then you can cherry pick like a buffet, like what Kevin Samuels says, what Better Bachelor says, what Richard Cooper says, what Fresh and Fit says, whatever, right? You can cherry pick from all those guys, and then you can see what works and what doesn't. And then, whoa, my microphone. What is going on today? I swear everything's going wrong. This is freaky, today's stream. Everything just seems to be going off. Stay tuned. I don't know, something might happen to my channel and my life today. Everything's just going haywire. It wasn't full moon. What's going on? Anyway, let's move on. Maybe the stream's telling me to, maybe the universe is telling me to move on, get the stream over with. There are things to attend to in real life. Sigma Born says, should men drop all social media, dating apps and smartphones? Only ever had Facebook, 8 years, blah, 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 flip phone. Yeah, maybe take a break and see how you feel. How do you feel about dating? Maybe eventually marrying a lawyer makes high 6 figures. I make 80K. Worried about the income situation will eventually be. This is the thing. If you're primarily focused on like protecting yourself financially, and then look, take money off the table. If you can take money off the table realistically, then at least you can take a risk with a female in a way that's more sort of natural. But if you're trying to have relationships with money, finances, and that kind of fear at the forefront, you're not going to have a good relationship. What's the reason you want to get with a person? It's emotional. It's to biologically get all the things you get from being with a woman, right? It's to have fun, a good time, companionship, mutual personalities and values matching. It's not about money. That means it becomes literally like 2 robots getting together to fulfill biological urges. Some guys will say, well, that's all it is. It's like, well, great. Try and have fun in your life doing that. Come on, guys, some of these questions are stupid. Hey, Boffin, how you going? He says, hit the thumbs up button. Yeah, hit the thumbs up, guys, and subscribe if you haven't. It helps the channel out. Yeah, curiously now, I've my numbers have frozen. I haven't had one subscriber come on in the last week or so, which is really weird. You can usually see it trickle in from hour to hour. You get 2 or 3 up, 2 or 3 down. It's actually just stayed at a consistent number for the last week and a half, which is really weird. Doesn't make sense. William H., thank you very much for the super chat. His question is, human, any circumstances under which you date a single mum? I'm around your age, 46, unless I want to date college-age girls. Most women have a kid. This is true. You get older, most women have kids too. So you have to be more and more discerning. The good thing is, because you're more and more discerning, you have to be more and more honest. So that's the positive. You can't just be laissez-faire kind of, yeah, whatever. She's young. Like when you're younger, it's kind of like, yeah, I don't know much. Go with the flow. I've got time. She doesn't have a kid, so you can relax more. But when she's got more, you have to think more. So that's the positive. But you need to, think a lot more than you used to, because more's at risk. You got less time ahead of you. So yeah, I'm not saying you shouldn't, although I'd say do everything you can not to date single mothers first, regardless of your age. Like, be happy on your own. If you must be with a woman, I would suggest not looking for single mothers as a primary focus point, because you're adding more on top of the person. What you want is the person, but they're coming with things. They're coming with baggage. And I don't care what women say who are single mums. You have baggage that a man needs to contend with. Don't be so arrogant that he should just accept you with kids. You wouldn't accept a man who lived with his mother and father as well. Women sort of say, oh, I've got wonderful kids. It's offensive that you think of them as a burden. I think of them as wonderful. It's like I could say I live with my wonderful parents. They're great human beings, but a woman doesn't want to have a relationship with you and your parents living at home any more than I want to have a relationship with a woman that's got kids living at home. Also, because those kids belong to another man. I don't want to take care of another man's kids. So that kind of arrogant point of view where single mums say they're offended. They're offended because they know they can't do anything about it. They don't want to face the responsibility of, I've added this negative trait to my overall selling point as a woman to get a man. Periscopanians, have you listened to Coach R. Pill channel? Yes, I have. He says some interesting things. Again, I don't know if we'd have much to talk about, though, because he approaches things from a very, very different point of view. So he says some interesting things, though. Let's just leave it at that. But he's a writer from memory. Like, he's got parts of himself that I have. So I find his conversations and the way he speaks, his lexicon, fairly interesting. And then when I realized he had written a bit, or he's a writer at heart, I understood why I liked how he spoke about certain subject, because he reflects on things in a lot of allegories, and he can describe things in ways that I try and do as well in my own way. But like I said, a lot of the guys I can appreciate their channel in small doses. It all depends on when some guys say, oh, would you have a conversation with this person? I don't know what we'd have in common. But I like his writer's brain. I like Coach R. Pill's sort of the way he thinks about subjects as a writer. I really appreciate that. Dan says, I think you're totally wrong, human. Most of them, the PUAs, would rather not pursue women. They just give their audience what they think they want. Perhaps you might be right. But the guys that are actually, think about the guys that are following them. Be honest, a lot of the guys are drowning, and these guys are giving them air. These guys, in the audience's eyes, these guys are their saviors. They become a religion to stay, keep their heads above water and breathe. It's not just entertaining. A lot of them are being fooled into being entertained by these channels, but they're going forward in life, living, trying to have relationships and live life and form a moral philosophy based on a schoolyard entertainment philosophy of get chicks, be alpha, make money. Spin plates. Corey says, care to describe your ideal woman? Thank you. Someone I enjoy spending time with. In a nutshell, long periods of time with. That's not a roller coaster. I wouldn't enjoy spending time with someone who's a roller coaster anyway. Okay, where are we? Mr. Highway says, yesterday I went to a wedding of someone I consider a little sister. I was very happy for her, but found myself pitying the groom. The R pill can really cause some jarring dissonance. Yeah, there are women I know in my life where I care about them, but I'm glad I'm not in a relationship with them. It really takes a compatible person. Because like I said, men and women have their own inherent traits. And with the wrong person, the worst traits that you have come to the surface as almost a survival mechanism. The incompatibility comes to the surface biologically. Tokyo Travel, thank you very much for the super chat. He says, thank you for your work. You're a blessing for many men out there. Long live and keep up the outstanding work. Thank you very much, Tokyo. It's people like you that keep me going. It's not just with the donations, but all of you guys that come on the live streams, that comment in the comment section. Like I said, a lot of times it's not just what I say. Then a lot of you guys have your own experience, and you add to my videos in the conversation below. And that's why. And I've chatted to and met a couple of guys from comment section under my videos that I really respect, and they're really great to talk to. That have got a good head on their shoulders, like Mr. Highway, like Boffin here, and I've met a couple of you guys that that give other guys in the comment section really well meaning and advice that I would be proud to have given guys, because my experience and my words don't always resonate. Sometimes maybe the ideas might trigger a conversation, but a lot of you guys, your experience and your mentorship can actually fill in the gaps and give guys glasses to see where once it was blurry. DLF says, human, how can I make sure if a woman is a single mum but not telling me? Be nosy. Go and try and sort of be around her a lot of times. Go visit her house. See if there's any inconsistencies. Keep asking her. If there's any kind of question in your head, don't be afraid to say it. A lot of guys they'll censor themselves because they don't want to offend her. But if it's a normal question, if you can say it politely, the person that likes you or a person that's honest shouldn't actually be hiding things from you. Corey thinks, thanks for all the fun and interesting content. Thank you very much, Corey, for this super chat. Yeah, guys, sometimes the questions, I don't know how to answer them, so I'm not going to read out the questions, or sometimes they're too big to answer, or sometimes to me they're just ridiculous. Sorry, but a lot of them I don't know how to answer them, so I'm not just going to read out your question and say I don't know. Ted1775 says, human, from you I have learned the importance of being able to have a rational, reasonable and cordial conversation with a potential mate or business associate. Thank you. Cool. Like I said, I'm not perfect, guys. I'm trying to figure all this stuff out, but I'm trying to do it as honestly as I can, and maybe I think that's a good quality to have. to be honest with yourself and express it outwardly. So I hope if that rubs off, I can't see how that could be a bad thing, as long as you had your eyes open. Link says, human, hey, do you have any other topics besides girls? The reason, like most of my commenters want to talk about relationships, and I find it interesting because it's a central topic why we're here. Again, what's the point of being alive is to reproduce. If you're going to reproduce or you're driven by that biological drive, then it's a very important topic to make sure you answer and get right with yourself. It's also that biology keeps pulling you back in. So I found that a lot of guys, if they can get women and relationships right in their head, the rest of life falls into place. So that's why a lot of guys in my comments talk about it. That's why there's a big community online. If guys can get women and relationships right, then they can get everything else right. I mean, what's the point of making a lot of money if you're just a sitting duck for a woman? What's the point of having a happy life if you're a sitting duck for a woman and you want women? Mr. Highway, thanks for the super chat donation. He says, lean in a bit closer next time so the mic can fall and knock the massage on knee out of you. I don't know what that last bit means, sorry. Can knock me on the knee? Yeah, these mics are good, but the screw mechanism where they attach I don't like it. It's slipped a couple of times. Okay. Let's get to some of the comments for the last couple of videos. Crimson for the video, are you painting a target on your back? For, just get rich, get jacked, and spin plates. And he said, bruh, just be better than everyone else at everything instead of doing things you like. Exactly. This is what these guys are essentially like. The PUA community is like, get better than every other guy at everything. So you're the best, the richest, the strongest, and you can have any woman you want. Instead of just being who you are and doing what you like. I mean, within reason, you got to be productive. You got to be responsible for yourself, earn money to pay your bills and things like that. But trying to become Elon Musk. I heard one person put it a great way once. They said, "Do you really think Elon Musk ever had a point where he said, 'They don't like me'?" Really? He never said that. That's why he is who he is. So you can't actually be him if you're not him. KJ, are you painting a target on your back? Same video. He said, if you become financially wealthy, bro, what kind of women will you attract? Answer, 95% of them. Yep. Dave, regarding my last video, when she won't listen. That was the skit video I did with Karen. He said, there's an old saying that women need to be wanted, men need to be needed. Women needing to be wanted means getting the makeup and sexy outfits on, heading out to some club and chatting up some guy for sex. For men, being needed means having to listen constantly to some woman's complaints, triumphs, defeats, fixing something, helping the woman do something, buying the woman something like dinner, flowers, a vacation, whatever. I understand there are exceptions to these apparent roles, but answer me this. Who appears to be more committed to a relationship? Yes. Who gives more? And who complains more? Yeah, women give more complaining, sure. These two comments were similar, so I thought I'd put them both in for when she won't listen. Sardonic Smile says, if your absence doesn't bother them, then your presence never meant anything to them. And Wolverich said, if a woman doesn't follow your lead as a man, she doesn't respect you. If she doesn't respect you, she doesn't care about you. If she doesn't care about you, why is she in your life? Exactly. Key himself says, life has taught me something very important that I want to share with all of you. Remember this, you'll always, I mean always, seriously, I mean always, have women until you need them. That has been my experience in my past. You'll always have a woman in your life when things are good. When you're going through a time that's going to really test if she really loves you, you don't. Stuart D, he says, for my video, when she won't listen, he said when, with a laughing emoji. I thought that was very funny. And John S, for the same video, the last one, the skit I did with Karen, he said, I actually said this once, I'm presuming to a woman, I lived without you for 38 years. I can live without you for another 38 years. That seriously ended the argument. Great comments, guys. I didn't have a chat. Obviously, there's been a lot of other great comments, but as Boffin said again, hit the thumbs up, guys, and hit subscribe. It's free. Linked says, okay, you asked me the question before. Okay then, one question, why don't you want kids? What's the point to your life? Okay, you sound like someone who's just discovered my channel. I've said it a few times, I'm just not wired that way. I've never wanted kids, but I'm not angry, or I don't think guys who want kids are stupid. It's perfectly natural. It's, again, biologically speaking, it's the reason we're here. Human beings are here to reproduce. I've never wanted it. I don't have that chip in me, which is why I understand why men struggle and find it so hard to find a relationship and a woman they can trust to be the mother of their children, to trust so that they'll be allowed to be around as the father of their kids. What's the point of my life? There's a lot of points. My family, friends, my hobbies, the things I create, talking to and sharing and with all of you guys. There's a lot of points to my life. I just don't want to have children. That's it. Yeah, as Mr. Highway says, there are certain words that YouTube doesn't like. It doesn't matter what context you put them in, which is really, to me, it's really a bit silly. If I want to help someone and I want to talk about, you know, offing yourself, I can't actually talk about it. I have to tiptoe around it and make the subject sound stupid and humorous and clownish, whereas it's a serious subject and you want to help people. So the context doesn't matter. They just flag words, which is really dumb. Okay, guys, if there's no more questions, let's wrap it up. This was a nice, quick. It wasn't a short one. It was an hour and a half. Roman says, fellow Melburnian here. I live in sunshine, and you? I live in the West, but I'm not going to tell you where I live, man. So I'm in the West like you are. You're northwest, though, kind of. Still West. Anyway, guys, unless there's any more questions, let's call it a day. An hour and a half is plenty, I think. And I hope you have a great Sunday. Thanks for tuning in. I think we covered a fair bit, answered a few questions. And I yacked for more than enough. Anyway, guys, have a great day, and I'll catch you in the next video. Bye.